Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Matt Capper, and this is another video on Raid Shadow Legends and another in our series of I Built Them So You Don't Have To. Today's champion is Swe-ren. We are going to take her the one place she's meant to be. First, of course, we're going to go through all the rest, show you her through the campaign, show her her gear. Then we're going to take her into the clan boss. This is a champion that is, as you'll soon see, seems to be at least, a perfect fit for a clan boss team. So without further ado, let's get into it with Swe-ren. Confusion reigns, attacks all enemies, has a 60% bookable to 80% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. Lotus Kiss, attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 40% bookable to 50% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns. Downsize, attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 60% bookable to 70% chance of placing a 25% weaken debuff for 2 turns. Alright, here she is. I was struggling with her name, I'm not gonna lie. It's like I'm thinking like Swiss-ren, so Swe-ren. I think Swe-ren sounds better. Swe-ren, 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 Swe-ren. I don't know. It's an interesting bunch of letters together that makes my brain melt. But we're gonna call her Swe-ren. I think that's the easiest for me to say. She is a Shadowkin Force Affinity Epic attack-based nuker, and when you take a look at her kit, as you already have, it is a natural thought in my mind that she is a boss fighter, right? Because she has the AoE decreased defense, which is nice. That now you have an epic in the Shadowkin that can put an AoE decreased defense among epics. Very strong, 80% chance. And then you have the single target. This is a almost guaranteed weaken, right? Because it's attacking one enemy 2 times, with each hit having a 60% chance of placing that weaken. And then finally, she's placing poisons. She's got 2 hits, each has a 50-50 chance. Now the poison chance a little bit low, but would be really good to supplement another poisoner that maybe isn't fully filling the bar, like an Annex or something like that. So, Fane would be another interesting one, although Fane already has the rest of the kit. So does Annex. You know, I was tough to really decide who to put her with. I think if I would have had a second backup team to put her in a clan boss situation, I would probably use a cult brawler. I think she's a perfect pair for a cult brawler who happens to be right beside her, so it must be meant to be. Unfortunately, I don't have my kind of backup setup available. A little bit low on silver, so we're just going to insert her into my normal Demetha comp, which I've had to change to a true Fu Myth-Fu comp because I had to pull Sugar out for the desert dungeon. And is what it is. We're gonna test her out in there, but let's take a look at her masteries first. Let me move out of the way as we click on masteries here. As you can see, I am taking her down. Now I made a big mistake here, and and then I repeated a mistake. So War Master proc, that makes sense. I didn't mean to take 2 down on the offense side, because I did actually want on the support side the chance to extend as well as the extra chance to land debuffs. Oops. I've already used her reset, so I don't want to use it again just for that and get 150 gens. Cost 150 gems. You can see I'm pretty low on resources right now, so we're trying to build that back up so I can make more videos. That's why it took so long. Not only recovering or going through COVID, but I'm also very resource poor right now, and it makes it difficult to do these videos, but that's fine. That's not your problem, that's mine. There are the masteries, and her build here will show you the stats. She's at 28,559 HP. Not a who cares when it comes to unkillable teams or block damage teams, but that will be something you have to keep in mind if you're trying to use her for a dungeon boss, for example. and then attack at 6659, 2173 defense, 167 speed, that's for the tune, and 275 crit damage at 242 accuracy. So all these numbers letting her do some significant some significant numbers to be able to hit that clan boss. We also did go with cruelty here, which is an extra chance to whittle down the defense of the target an extra 10%. She's at a level 4, which also gives her some extra attack and HP. Attack, HP, and crit damage, which allows me to get the stats that I am, because her base stats are okay for an epic, but not anything to write home about. So, with that said, why don't we take her right into the clan boss and see what she can do. Alright, so here we are. This is the clan boss. We're going to take Sur-ien. God, how am I going to say her name? We're going to take her into this clan boss team to see what kind of damage she can do in the clan boss. I feel like her kit is perfectly tuned to that. We've taken out my normal team that I currently use here in order to use this. And what we're going to do with Fushan, let me just show you the team here, and I'll kind of walk through it. Fushan, speed lead. This is the Myth Fu. This is the traditional Myth Fu. But I've actually turned off his decreased defense so that Sur-ien is doing all Swe-ren. I have to record this on a different day. You guys are probably like, what the? He just decided what? Swe-ren. I had to do it on a different day because I needed affinity here, just because I didn't want to rework the whole team just to show this. But we got Fushan in the lead. We're turning off his defense down because we're going to see how well that her decreased defense and weaken work on this group. And then she's got poisons on her A1, and we're going to see just if this can do. It would actually, if I wanted to run this team full time, make more sense to turn off hers, because it's an 80% chance, or even just keep them both on just to ensure 100% uptime, because he's hitting 4 times with each at a 50%. So probably a better chance that he's landing his and hers. Ultimately, if I was going to use this team forever, I would just keep them both on, and then you never have to worry about your defense down. But we're going to make sure that she is pulling all the weight here, and we're going to run that actually first choice. We're going to run the weakened second choice. And now we've got her sitting at 6659, 275. Okay, went through 242 accuracy. One other thing is what we're going to do afterwards. I'm going to take her into a dungeon and see if we can, make her a little bit more survivable, sacrifice some of that attack and crit damage, but see if we can't use her in a team for a dungeon. And then, of course, Seeker, sitting here at 185. First start there. This you've seen 100 times if you've seen any of my videos on it, or any Myth Fu videos. But you see here, Demetha at 290 and Eris finally at 261. For those of you who are familiar with my team, you notice there's no more sugar in the team. I took him out for the Sand Desert dude, so I had to rework the team, and we put in Fushan just to make my life easier. So that is the team we're going to go. Let me disappear, and then we'll come back on the other side. I'm actually going to do a couple tests because I'm really curious as to see what's going to do the better damage. So I'm going to run this twice. You won't have to watch the whole thing. We'll just flip to the end and see what goes on. But I'll be back. All right, there's our first attempt. Not bad, right? She's sharing the load with Fushan. Fushan with a little bit more damage than her, but definitely they broke 100 million. That's all you can ask for from a comp like this. So definitely works. We're going to try this one more time, and I'm actually going to turn off her defense down, and I'm going to go with Fushan's defense down just to see if that gives her more chance to put those poisons up. Kind of disappointing on the amount of poisons she actually puts up. and relatively speaking, right? Obviously, she's still crushing it. So, no problem. We don't have to even do that. And then we'll bring in Shred as our first choice here, and we'll just ignore the Frightful Claws. The Frightful Claws don't hit very hard. I don't even have them booked. The big deal is this, on a 3-turn cooldown, he's going to hit that quite a bit. So that's going to be good to go. And then we should see, I would think, better results out of this, because we're going to get more poisons out there. But there's only one way to find out. So let's save it, let's hit it, and let's go. Yeah, there we go. As suspected, not only are you now Swe-ren is actually doing more damage slightly than Shan. They're both over 30 million. Really good key overall. It's just two things. Shan just a better chance of landing that decreased defense, and on top of it, Swe-ren's now getting more poisons, more attempts at poisons. I would say that you can still, I think her best bet would be, if you don't have the Shan, you can use her as your Force Affinity lead, so that she's tanking for Eris, and then use someone else who's got poisons. I think any other poisoner who doesn't fill the bar quite, so you have the two of them working in conjunction, would work really well. Especially anyone who's got a defense down and not a weaken, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of different combinations, but definitely very strong in this. She's going to be able to do work for you, even if she is the only one with the defense down and the weaken. They're on different skills, which does pose a little bit of a problem, and there's a little bit of a gap in damage, which is why when you see Shan taking that over, it's such a significant. Like, we're talking, sure, there's RNG, but that's 11 million more damage in a run with a pretty consistent other 3. So very interesting. You could also, if you wanted, put her in Toxic, or put one of these champions in Toxic, like Eris, for example, and that would probably just net you even more damage if you needed it. Obviously, if you're doing over 100 million, you don't need it, so what's the point? But if you're, obviously, if you don't have the same great haul, you don't have some champions with awakenings, those sort of things, you might be in that 60 to 70 range, and you want to bolster it with Toxic. So very good, yeah, no, really decent damage stats here. But for most of you, it's probably a question of where can she be used for me. You probably already have your Ultra Nightmare team, and if that is the case, we're going to take her into a dungeon and see if we can't put something together that might help you use her in everyday battles. Alright, so here's the team we're going to run. I'm going to run a Seer team 25, and I'm also going to run a Dragon 20 all epic team, so you can see where she might fit in. Here we put her in a shield set so that she's giving Seer some extra buffs to eat. And you can see her stats now. We put a lot more HP. Probably not enough for her to survive on the dragon, but it'll be something. She still has decent attack, obviously. Defense a little low to survive that dragon. 227 speed was the important thing, and the 289. I know I didn't crit cap her, don't at me. I'll make sure she's crit capped for the 20 level dungeon, but we'll just see how this one works. Now keep in mind, she's not 100% chance for that decreased defense, so potentially this is going to slow the run down. But if you don't have other options, I'm just kind of putting, here's an option if you don't have another champion to be able to kind of do these things that you need to do. Looks like we missed one. That's fine. We'll sweep it up. You know, it's not a big deal to miss the one, because your team should be able to take that down fairly good if you've built a good team around this. And then, of course, we just rinse, repeat. And she got really unlucky there. I mean, you know, I guess it is an 80% chance, which is a 20% chance to do what just happened. We'll see if that affects us. I think that's still an easy kill. Oh, he did the HP balance. There's no one but him. How did he get any HP? Anyway, now we get to the boss. This is the big deal, is can she place the weaken? Can she get all these other things? The decreased defense, couple poisons. That's a good little bit for her. There's the weaken up. And now hopefully here, yeah, see, we're gonna get a cleanse here. There's a decreased defense, some good damage, and that's gonna allow the rest of the team to do. Now here's the deal: does she have enough oomph to survive? No, she's not gonna survive unless we get some heals somehow, which I don't think we will. I think that those poisons are enough to kill her. Well, unless Whisper's going to take over the show. But you know what? She did what she needed to do. She's got the defense down. She's got the weaken. And now the team can kind of do its thing. So, is it a perfect scenario? Probably not. Having bad elves that make that a lot easier, of course. Whisper decided to go off on a tangent, but still, threw 757 damage, even though she didn't she died a little early. You know, overall, it's a reasonable substitute if you have no better options. But honestly, there are so many better options in among epics because they have a 100% chance. And that's probably the one failing of her in this scenario, is that because she's not 100% chance, she's just not as reliable as the top tier. Whether you're talking about, you know, Stag Knight, plus the attack down makes it even better in this. She does bring the weaken, so you could argue that having the defense down plus the weaken makes the dragon go down quicker. So why don't we try level 20 here and see if we can't put together a non kind of speed team, a little more realistic team for those of you who don't have Seer or aren't at that level. So let's take Seer out, let's take Whisper out. All right, so here's a reasonable, I think, team that you might be bringing into this sort of battle. Stage 20, we've got some good force fighters, we've got some nukes, we've got some poisons, we've got some enemy max HP. I haven't tuned them, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just going to hit start. I didn't even look at their stats. I just hope they all have gear. Hey, don't at me, bro. Don't at me. Keep in mind, Alika is the much improved Alika. That decreased attack is really nice, hey? Boom, we get some of that. Yeah, get him. We got the $50 man. He's gonna go down. So again, pretty easy. Now here's always the tough one, is that second one. Just putting the poisons down. We do have a single attack. Oh, that was really nice. Really nice. Now, I don't know. Oh, we missed one. Oh, the decreased attack is on the champion. That doesn't matter the most. So, this is probably reasonable. We got a nice little cooldown from Alika. Yeah, it looks like we're going to be fine here. Easy clap. And then on to the boss. I mean, this team wasn't to be a speed team, obviously. It's just to show you kind of a bevy of epics that can do really well for you. And I think... yeah, I think she's going to do just fine. I mean, those poisons are just nice. They just add to the overall. And she can put a decreased defense. She does everything you kind of want her to do. Obviously, we're going to survive pretty easily against Dragon 20 with this team. Especially with the decreased attack that Dark Hail brings. Dark Hail is so nice. It's so unfortunate that it takes so long to get him. But there you go. She's doing 750,000. You know, other than Royal Guard's enemy max HP doing the big chunk, Alika obviously is Alika. She's got to be the most consistent damage dealer among epics, without mechanic, without enemy max HP type of thing, just in general in waves. Dark Hail and her pretty much even. Dark Hail's built out for an Ice Golem team, so he's not nuking as hard. But yeah, overall, I think she's a champion you can use, definitely use in these sort of scenarios. Well, with that, I think it's time for final thoughts. My final thoughts on Swe-ren is she is a champion that, like so many champions they put into the game right now, she's definitely usable if you don't have other options. I think she's especially usable in Faction Wars because she is the only defense down AoE among epics. That's guaranteed. I know Aboro has a certain mechanic, but it requires some really special hopes and prayers, whereas this is just an 80% chance to put her in there. You know, plus you can do the extra 5%. So 85% is going to get you through most of what you needed. You saw in the dungeon run, she's almost guaranteed to miss one out of the 5, which is, of course, is 80%. So she has enough follow-up damage to be able to be helpful too. She is very unsurvivable, which is also a common trait among epic champions they've built nowadays, is you really have to sacrifice that damage if you're using her for debuffs. And I don't think she's got enough damage that you want to use her unless you're using her for her debuffs. The poison's really nice. She does slot into the clan boss fairly nicely, though as we saw, even again that 85% defense down, plus the fact that her poisons is really where she's going to get that supplementary damage from. And if you have to use her other kit on a 3-turn cooldown, you're just not getting to this enough on a 50% chance to land those poisons. 55 with the mastery. So I think she's a solid champion. I wouldn't be rushing out to build her if you don't need her. There's definitely better champions to do every different thing in here, but I think the fact that she's got a nice combination of them makes her very strong and very useful for faction wars and for people who this is the champion you receive. This is the champion you got. You need that defense down. She can do the job for you. She can do it well enough to allow you to put her in just about any situation, depending on your gear and depending on the level of your guild hall and your empowerment. So overall, I give her a good grade. I don't think she's stupendous. Let's do this. I keep forgetting to do this, but Demon Lord, yeah, I'm gonna give her a 5 because she did north of 30 million damage. I think that's a fair enough assessment. I think in a counterattack team, she's going to do really well because of her poisons on her A1. I think she's got a lot of versatility. I think her lack of survivability would be the one big negative. But with there's being so many different ways to make unkillable and block damage work, I think it's fair enough. Campaign locations a 4. No, she's a 3. First of all, she's Force Affinity, which automatically drops her usefulness in campaign locations, but she does have an AoE decrease, defense, and good damage, so she can get you through some of those tricky places if you're a newer player, like Stage 11, which a lot of people struggle with their starter champion. Arena offense, a 4. No, she's a 3. She's too unsurvivable. I guess, you know what, I can give her a 4 because she does have an AoE and she does have some follow-up damage. I'm like, God, 4? I don't know. She's so squishy and she's not doing next level damage, but she is debuffing, but she's not bringing it. I'm going to give her a 3. Dragon's Lair, I can give her a 4 in Dragon's Lair. It's where we used her. It seems to make sense. Faction Wars, I'm going to give her a 5. Because among epics, there's nothing else that does what she does. So, easy. And then, of course, if you're on 21, not only she's going to put that weaken as well, which means you could build her for ton of HP and just ignore her damage, let some of the other champions do the damage, and just let her continually debuff. I think that's an absolute banger way. Fire Knight's Castle, she's better, she doesn't have a multi-hitter, so we're going to put a 3. She does have the help with the waves. She can single target and hit good damage against the boss, but she doesn't have any big, 5 attack 4 times, that sort of thing. Spider's Den, I would say a 2. I don't even understand, other than the defense down. Arena defense, she's a 1. I don't even understand why people have her at 3. How do you get a 3.7? Those who have rated this, how do you give her a 3.7? She has 14,000 HP and like less than 1,000 defense, or just 1,000 defense. She's not gonna live. So what possible? The poisons are gonna save you? Come on now. Void Keep, I mean, the survivability is a problem. Force Keep, she can cleanse, she can do the thing. Magic Keep, she's strong affinity. Spirit Keep, she's weak affinity. Ice Golem's Peak, I think she's going to do too much damage, which is going to be a problem on that AoE. Minotaur's Labyrinth, I think she would be fine there. Hydra, not enough survivability. Iron Twins Fortress, are you kidding me? What does that even mean? Sand Devil's Necropolis, she doesn't have a sleep. She's got poisons, aren't useful. She does have single target weaken, plus the AoE defense. I'll give her a 2. I don't understand why it's a 5. Why did 6 people rate that a 5? I don't understand. Those are my ratings. That's my thoughts on her. Thank you for watching the video. Hey, let me know in the comments down below. Swe-ren, am I out to lunch here? What do you think? Let me know what your thoughts are on this champion. But she looks cool. I'll tell you, look at the I love the whole clan, that whole faction. It looks amazing. Hey, you know what? Be kind, be safe. We'll see you in the next video.